I think as an entertainment lawyer, we'd always rather an errors and omissions policy be obtained as early as possible, certainly before production would be ideal. I think in a lot of cases for certain budget levels, depending on which parties are involved, certain broadcasters or distributors might require that policy in place. There's obviously a great deal of pros to that approach, not just because it's mandated by those third parties, but it forces the production to get everything in order legally as quickly as possible. So chain of title, cast and crew agreements, releases, any and all forms of rights, permissions that they need to go into production. The caveat to that is some things might just not be obtained before or in the first couple of days of production. Music rights, for example, that's typically dealt with after production and post-production, so there will be some contracts that may need to be sorted out afterwards, but once E&O is basically wrapped up for the production, that's a huge hurdle that they've already jumped over, and they can focus on other matters. On a practical note, most independent production companies, maybe under certain budget levels, they may not have those third parties attached to the project before they go to camera. Maybe they have one or two, so they may not be mandated to get the E&O policy before it goes to principal photography. So on a practical level, they might be obtaining E&O afterwards, maybe during post-production process, or even later on once they get distribution or any legitimate interest from a sales agent or distributor. The one pro to that approach is when you complete the application, you have a good understanding in terms of all parties involved at that point. Chances are you have music rights obtained, you have any and all third parties and necessary releases. You've also had a chance that if you for some reason did not get a location to sign a release or an individual to sign an appearance release during production at that point in time, you might be able to get it a couple weeks later. So your chances are you're having everything wrapped up, legally speaking, by the time you complete that application. So that's the pro to that approach. The con is it all comes down to delivery. If you only obtain an errors and omissions policy because, and in the course of finalizing a deal with a distributor, that's part of the delivery process, and you might be going through that part and realize the film's already made, the final cut has already been done. If your entertainment lawyer spots an issue, the option of removing it or editing it out might already be too late. The distributor might also, they think that they're getting the final cut, and turns out there might be a situation with the project and it might hold up delivery or the deal generally. So that would be the negative approach of waiting too long, especially if there's, again, brands, logos, permissions that have not been obtained or cleared at that time.